everyone, and welcome to this oil painting time-lapse and a fairy tale coming up very soon. I do hope you enjoy it, and thank you so much for your amazing comments on my last video. I hope you're all having a wonderful week. I thought I would also mention that I was blocked on Instagram, and I thought maybe I'd mention it just to help out anyone who either has been blocked and doesn't know what to do, or may end up getting blocked. I hope you don't, but you never know. And so it was something called action blocked. It ended up being hilarious, even though I was quite actually slightly worried when it did happen, because I thought I was actually blocked forever on Instagram. And so I kind of like analysed it for a second, and I was like, I've just been blocked forever on Instagram. And it kind of like, the realisation was sort of a bit like, this is probably quite bad. But then I sort of thought, well, there's nothing I could do about it, so there you are. But what happened was, essentially, I was liking a bunch of photos. Nothing, actually, funnily enough, it was a bunch of cat photos. I feel like a lot of people who watch my channel will probably have guessed it was that. And so I was just, because I'm actually very fast, like I've always been a really fast person on, like, with computers and stuff, because I am a writer, obviously, and I could touch type from like really young, because I was always writing stories. So I'm super fast, and it's actually great in the grand scheme of life. But on Instagram, apparently, something that I found out, you're not supposed to be fast. You have to be really slow. You have to be like a tortoise, and only like you're only supposed to like a few photos intermittently, and not, you know, one after the other. Also, if you get a bunch of follows, which I sometimes do, you're not supposed to follow people you know, straight away. You're supposed to, you know, take sort of like as if you're like an elderly person with your, like, you've just discovered your phone, and you just have to sort of slowly like and follow people. So this is something that I did not, well, I did actually kind of know about it, but I didn't think it was actually going to affect me. So I got this message, and it said something like, blah blah blah, we suspect you are using an automated service to get likes and follows or something for your account, which is obviously like using a bot, which I think personally is a bit ridiculous. A bit ridiculous accusation, because if I was using a bot, I would probably have like 50,000 or 100,000 followers, subscribers, followers, as opposed to 2,000 and something. And also, I've obviously followed everyone back. So normally when people use bots, they just like leave the bot to do whatever it does, and then they wander off somewhere. So I was kind of like, this is really annoying, because I'm like using Instagram in a legitimate way. And probably what was the most ironic thing about the whole situation was, they sent me an automated message to tell me that my account was being automated, which I thought, haha, like, do you not see the irony? But then obviously it's like, I can't talk to it because it's, you know, an automated message. So I was just like sitting there shouting at my phone. I wasn't actually shouting, but just like, you know, trying to have a conversation with nothing. So anyway, so I thought that I would be banned for only like 24 hours, because I asked loads of people. Actually, I don't know anyone who has ever been blocked, so I was just asking everyone, like, what do I do? I've been banned, and people were like, my friends were like, I don't know, because they don't even really use Instagram very much. So I was just like, what do I do now? So I like looked on YouTube and Googled and stuff, and most people would be banned for like 24 hours or 48 hours, and then everything was fine again. So so I thought, okay, fine, so I will only be blocked for that long. And so then I went back on there, and I kept getting this automated message. So I actually started to accept the fact that I had been banned forever. And so I then Googled, like, what do you do if you've been banned forever from Instagram? And like loads of videos of people like crying and like you know, throwing tantrums or like screaming, like, you know, I've been banned from Instagram forever, which was really you know, obviously it was not funny at the time, but now when I look back at it, that is quite funny. I mean, I do feel bad for people if they have like if they just run their business through Instagram. It's actually truly terrible. Like, I think that Instagram should be better run that way, because I think there are a lot of people who do kind of dodgy stuff on it. In fact, I know there are people who do dodgy stuff on Instagram, because there are certain things that I really think Instagram don't police, like animal abuse, for example. So, like, the amount of times I've been on Instagram and I've seen a little like puppy or a cat being abused, and it's been shared like thousands of times, it's got thousands of views, thousands of likes, and I just like, I don't get why Instagram doesn't do something about that, but then like they do these other silly things. So, you know, all I can say is, so anyway, after after that, like, I thought, okay, I've been mad forever, and then after a few days I realized, well, I should probably do something else just in case, you know, to try and sort of recover the situation. So I did actually think maybe I would, you know, tweet Mark Zuckerberg. That's like, I think that's when you've reached like the most desperate point where you're like, literally, this is the end. Time to tweet something rude to Mark Zuckerberg. And then that's it. So I was going to do that. I was just going to be like, Zuckerberg, you know, I have, you know, I'm not going to say what I was going to say. But anyway, and then on Tuesday, I went back and it was working again. But actually, I think the reason, what helped was just basically coming off it completely and not like following anyone, or because a few things were still working, but I feel like just coming off it completely just seemed to help, I guess. I don't know. Oh, I also used the help desk on Instagram. So if you help button, I like sent them a message and was like, this is unfair because I haven't done anything wrong, and they I think that was probably what helped the most. So if this ever happens to you, you can try all those different avenues of help, and there are a few other ways. I found an amazing video which talks about it, so if any of you guys have any problems, just let me know and I can send you a link to the video, because I can't actually remember the name of the video right now, but there was just this guy who was talking about like all these different steps you can do to save yourself and save your account, save your Instagram life. So there we are. So now I'm kind of scared to like people's Instagram stuff on there, so I've sort of been not going on there as much. But to be perfectly honest, I think it was quite good in a way, because it's always interesting to see what would happen to yourself if you have to come off social media. And I realised that nothing really happened. I just felt a little bit annoyed, but there we are. So I guess I realised I could survive without Instagram, although I never really started off on Instagram. Instagram was just like a fairly recent thing for me, so I think probably if it was off YouTube, that would be a bigger deal for me, because I do love the whole like video interaction thing. So that was kind of my reason for starting my channel. So I think that would be more of a big deal for me, but yeah, it's certainly not fun to be banned on another thing. I felt like I was really like I'd done something really, really bad, and the worst part was that when I was trying to do anything, like even just reply to someone's comment on my Instagram page, I couldn't do that, and it kept coming up with this like warning message, and I felt like it was like the police were watching me or something, like the Instagram police. So, you know, it was, yeah, it's pretty weird. So there we are, that's my little story. And with this painting, this was inspired by a fairy tale that I wrote. I've had this idea for quite some time, and it kind of just all came together in this painting. And the idea was really about, I've always been fascinated, by the way, by swans. I've always found them really, they work really well in art. They have such a beautiful curvature, so they have this amazing silhouette if you paint them. And what was so interesting about this idea that I had was that, well, I don't know if it's interesting, but I hope it is. It was all about this group of swans who would go down the river, and the swans that were kind of good and you know, looked after the other ones, the baby swans, and were kind of kind, at night they would transform into this kind of regal version of themselves, and the river would be all lit up so that they could find their way at night. But the swans that were bad, like they had sort of bad souls and bad auras, and they were, you know, they would bite other swans and they were mean, they would actually transform into trolls. And as the night came, they would go off onto the land and then troll literally, smash up the village and, you know, throw things at the people and, you know, rob the shops and generally cause absolute mayhem. And but then in the day, when it became light again, they would transform back into swans. These trolls would turn back into swans, and so they'd all become swans again. And so you could never really tell in the daytime who was good out of these swans and who was bad. It was only at night that you could see the difference. You could see the insides, I guess, of the swans being like they were transformed into what they were on the inside, I guess. So that's it. It was only a very short little fairy tale, and I do hope you like it. Quite often come up with ideas at night when I'm dreaming, and so that was just one that I came up with. If you ever have not enough ideas when it comes to writing, it's like fairy tales, or when it comes to painting, I would say you're actually a little bit more lucky than me, because I actually have too many ideas and have really great problems in trying to condense them into either a painting or into a succinct story, because there's always too much going on in my head. So there we are. I do hope you enjoyed this little fairy tale, and let me know what you think of the painting. The painting is on linen, like it's just kind of taped down, and I used Gamblin, sort of all the Gamblin paints. I don't think I used any. Oh, I did use a couple of 3M Graham, I think, and just a solvent-free gel, one of the gels. I'm not entirely sure which one from Gamblin, the ones in the tube. And I also used, what else did I use? I used I am getting new paintbrushes, miniature ones, to get in all the fine details at last. And if you want me to do a video about my 3 favourite art stores in London that are really great for specialist products for oil painting, then I could do that. I've been thinking about doing that. I will do that. I maybe have 2 more, but 3 are kind of main ones. So yes, have an amazing week, and I will see you next week with another video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and take care.